Hi everyone, welcome to the Knitting Turnpike. Welcome everyone to the Knitting Turnpike. My name is Gina Pike, and this is a place where I like to share knitting and crochet projects that I've been working on. And as I work on these projects, I will find tips or tricks that I like to do. I'm a person who likes to save time, get things done quickly or easily, and if I encounter something that I think is interesting, or maybe I do it a little bit differently than others, I will do a video and share that here. I am a self-taught knitter. I learned how to knit in 2010, taught myself using YouTube videos, much like this one, and so I'm not the best knitter, but I love to knit. I try to knit a little bit every day. I started out crocheting. I have lost a little bit of my crochet because I haven't done it in a while, but I do love to crochet as well. And I do hope to start doing more of that here on this channel. Anyway, I am working on several works in progress. I have a lot going on in January. The first one, I've already shared this before in other videos, and I'll link some of them here, or here. And the first one is the Hiberknitalong by Stephen West. I knitted the first shawl, which was the Winter Lights Shawl, and I finished it about a week ago, and I did a finished project video of that shawl, and I'll put a link here. I loved knitting that shawl. It was so beautiful. It was so interesting. It had all these different details. And anyway, this video is not about that shawl. I have videos about that shawl. This one is the second part of the Hiberknitalong, which Stephen West was so generous to give us 2 shawls in the Hiberknitalong. The second one is called the Woven Chevrons, and it's based on the chevron border, which is the second part of that Slipstravaganza. I did knit the Slipstravaganza in November, which was his annual mystery knit along, and I'll put a link to that video. That was such a fun shawl, and that was my first ever Stephen West knit, and I really kind of cemented me really loving knitting his project. So of course when he did the Hiberknitalong, I jumped on board. This is my Woven Chevrons shawl. This is what I've gotten done. The last time I showed you guys this, I had done section 1 and 2, and I was starting section 3. And this is where I am. So you can see I've done this is section 1. I've done section 2, and I've done section 3. And I've just started, I thought I put that correctly here. And I just started section 4. And I've done colors 1 and 2. Basically, this is just a rotation of colors. You have a main color, which my main color is this Madeline Tosh Merino Light Blue Stowe. And then I have a gradient, 3 skeins. It's a 3 colorway in grays. And it's these. This is my first color. This is my second color, which is just a little bit darker. It's not much of a contrast between them. And then this is my third color, a little bit darker gray. And you just rotate these colors throughout the knitting of your shawl. You do start this shawl by you create an I-cord. And then you go through and you pick up the stitches after you create this I-cord. And then you start knitting from when you picked up the stitches, and you go this way with your knitting. And as you're going along, you can see you rotate the colors, but you do have points here. What's very interesting are these little sections that you'll encounter along the shawl. You have one here, you have one here, and you have one here on the edge. and these sections rotate as you knit these colors. Like on this colorway, you're using the main color for these slip stitches, and they're just slip stitches. These are knitted with the main color, and then these are slip stitches. But then when you get to the second color, you can see it rotates. They become knitted stitches with the second color, and then where you knitted the stitches with the first color becomes slip stitches with the main color, and then these slip stitches become knitted stitches with this color. And then again, when you get to color 3, then you rotate again, and you have the main color being slip stitches. Where you had those slip stitches in the center, you knit stitches with that third color, and then you have slip stitches over here where you had originally knitted the stitches, and it creates these beautiful points throughout your shawl that anchor it. And around these, to create these points, you have decreases. This is a really easy knit. As you can see, this is a lot of garter stitch knitting here on these colors when you're just knitting the rest of the row. But when you get to this section, it's not hard. It is slip stitch color work, but basically there are decreases around these points to create the points. You have like easy decreases to create the points, but you do have to keep up with where you are, because if you miss it, you'll mess up the design. So you have to make sure you know exactly where you are with if you're going to slip stitch or if you're going to knit, and to keep the design going correctly. And that's all it really is. You once you knit the first section and you get through, you create 6 rows of color. You do color 1, color 2, color 3, color 1, color 2, color 3, and that's the first section. And then after you finish that first section, you do another I-cord cast on, which is this part, and then you pick up stitches along that I-cord and start creating section 2. But as you do section 2, the shawl has now gotten this big, whereas before it was only that big in section 1. The shawl is now this big in section 2. And you knit it for 6 rows of color, and then after you do that, you cast on another I-cord and create section 3, and then the shawl becomes this big. And you're going to do this for 9 sections because the shawl is 9 sections wide. Now there are some people who are knitting this that are making it smaller, you know, you can do this, you can do with this whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be 9 sections. It ends up being a triangular shawl. It's so geometrically intricate and beautiful. I'll put a finished picture here to remind you of what we're going for. But you know, if you want to make this smaller, you can adapt this. If you're going to make it 4 sections, 5 sections, 3 sections, you can do whatever you want to do. It's that's the beauty of this, is that it's easily adaptable. Or you can make it 10, you can make it bigger, you can make it 14 sections. However much yarn you have and want to keep going, keep going. You know, you can make a beautiful blanket of this. But as you can see, after section 3, I knit those rows. You know, again, it's got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then after I did that, I cast on this I-cord, and then here I go for section 4. When you're knitting this, the one thing that you can do that you need to be aware of is that when you get to these sections here, like these 3 stitches are going to line up with these 3 stitches here that are knitted. That should line up again with these 3 stitches here that are knitted. That line up with the 3 stitches here. That should line up again with these 3 stitches here. It's got to all line up to keep it all straight. And that's another way to keep yourself in check, and also to check and make sure you have the proper amount of stitches between these 2 points. So it's a great way to keep track of your knitting and make sure everything is staying on track, is by checking these points to make sure that they're all lining up properly. So I'm just started section 4. I was hoping to be a lot further along. I was hoping to be through section 6 today when I did this video, but I just didn't have a great week. I haven't been feeling well, so I didn't get a lot of knitting done. And the Hiberknitalong ends on January the 26th, and I was hoping to finish it. Today is the 22nd of January, so I don't think I'm gonna finish this by January the 26th, but I did give it my best shot, and I'm going to keep on going, and we'll just see how much longer it takes me to finish this up. Anyway, that's what the Hiberknitalong looks like, and I love it. I think this was the one I really wanted to knit when I saw the two shawls, but after knitting the Winter Lights Shawl, I did fall in love with that. I love the honeycomb section. It's just beautiful in its own way as well. All right, the other shawl that I've been working on this week is also, if you can believe it, another Stephen West shawl. And he released this pattern in between the Slipstravaganza and then the Hiberknitalong. He released it like at the beginning of December, and this is called the Painted Waves Shawl. He has a shawl version and a cowl version of this pattern. Now this one is a lot easier to knit than the Woven Chevrons, and I'll explain why. But this is where I showed you this in my last, in my WAYK 9 video, I showed you the color choices that I picked for this shawl. I showed you how I ordered them. You know, I took a black and white picture so that I could see the tone of the yarn without the color distracting me, and I could just see, so I could put them in order from light to dark. That's in the WAYK 9 video, and I'll put a link up above. And WAYK just means what are you knitting? This is where I've gotten, last time I showed you guys my shawl, I believe here. I'm trying to keep, and this is where I've gotten now with all these beautiful colors. This is the Torquata colorway from Miss Babs, and let me get up close so you guys can see all the colors. And then I added 3 other colorways from Miss Babs in the Caroline Yarn Gradient to go along with these. I'm using the Oyster Gray colorway as the lines that go between them. And this is a very simple knit. You started with an I-cord here, and then you pick up the stitches in the I-cord and start knitting this out. But when you get to these, this part, these gray sections, the dividers, is all simple slip stitch knitting. The only hard part about it is you do have a feather and fan design that you have to knit every once in a while, and it's only on one of the rows. The rest of it's simple garter stitch. And then when you get to these color sections, you do have a lot of color changes, because as you can see, you're changing the color a lot. But these are just stockinette stitch, very simple. You know, knit on the right side, purl on the back side, and just very simple. And you can see how my colors are starting to come together, and you knit, there's 8 colors, and then you just start repeating them over and over again. When you get to section 2, so you have this simple feather and fan stitch once in section 1. You just have that right there. But when you get to section 2, it starts right here. You start having that feather and fan twice. You can see it there, and you can see it there. So you have feather and fan twice. And there's section 3, and section 3 is huge. I think there's like over 200 rows in section 3. And I think the feather and fan just adds, so it just starts adding on throughout this. So you'll have like another feather and fan on down the road, or a couple of them. I haven't really looked at it super close, but I know that I did see a couple of pictures, and there were several feather and fan sections on each row. But as you can see, that's what it's looking like. I'm loving how the colors are playing together. I'll pull it back so you can kind of see it all together. See how the colors are all coming in together. I think they look good. They're very bright and cheery, and this yarn is very soft because it has like 20% cashmere in it. I think 20% is very nice to knit with. And that's where I am. This next section, like I said, section 3 is just going to keep on repeating these 8 colors in an order, and with adding more feather and fan. And it is a long triangular shaped shawl. Anyway, that's the Painted Waves Shawl by Stephen West, and I'm to section 3. I just finished section 2. So thank you for letting me share that with you. And those are the only whips I'm going to be sharing. I have several more that I discussed in my WAYK 10 video, but I'm going to save those for another day because this video is starting to get too long. And there's one other thing I want to talk about before I wrap this up for you. Wrap this up. I had received this week a few shout outs from some other YouTube channels that was so unexpected and so just, you know, wonderfully kind. I really do appreciate these guys, and I wanted just to say thank you to each one of them and let them know that I did hear them, and I want to thank them and say I appreciate them as well, and let you guys know about them so you guys can check out their channels. The first channel is called 2 OGs Hookin' and Stitchin' Island Style, and OG stands for old gals. And this is Antoinette, and she is in Canada, and she's in Deer Island Bay off of Fundy in Canada. And she has some beautiful scenery that she shows in her videos, but she also does knit and crochet, and I believe she sews as well. And she has some beautiful stitching going on. She's currently making this beautiful teal sweater coat. And she's also working on a dress for her granddaughter. She has some beautiful stitching, so go check her out. I'm going to link everybody's channel down below for you guys to go check them out. And the next person that gave me a shout out that I want to thank is Jane of Scraptastic Yarns. Jane, thank you so much. Jane is a knitter and crocheter, and I believe a sewer as well. I think she makes project bags. But she's in Pennsylvania, and she also shows yarn hauls and finished projects, whips, and she also does daily Bible readings on her channel, which I appreciate so much. I love to listen to her read the Bible. She has a very soothing voice. So go check out Jane and of Scraptastic Yarns. And then the third person I want to mention is Christy of Sweet Pea Crafts. And she gave me a shout out in her video the other day. And Christy is a beautiful knitter and crocheter and a sewer and a quilter. And she just has some amazing finished items. I just love looking at it. Love watching her videos when she shows items that she's knitted and crocheted, because they're just stunning. I mean, she's knitted the Slip Stravaganza for Stephen West, and she's working on the Winter Lights Shawl from Stephen West, and it's just beautiful. She has a amazing choice of colors, and so please check her channel out. She lives in Louisiana, and just a really sweet channel, and she shows her dogs sometimes, and they're just adorable. Gus, and I can't remember the other one's names, but they're long-haired dachshunds, and they're really cute. The last thing I want to mention is, and it's very important because I believe in the message of this, this is Lisa with Ladybird Loves, and she is doing one of the kindest things I've ever heard of. She has it on her heart that she wants to help YouTube creators promote themselves. She is a YouTube creator herself. Again, her channel is Ladybird Loves, but she has said that she will promote any YouTube creator. Right now, it's kind of been a lot of crochet and knitting channels, but that's because she crochets and has a lot of friends in that realm. But she mentioned to me that she will promote any YouTube creator, so just reach out to her. Go look at her channel, follow her channel, and just watch her creator series. It's the Creative Bridge series, and it's just so kind and heartwarming, and just a beautiful message that spreading love and kindness and support here on YouTube, instead of undercutting and being hateful and trying to steal other people's ideas. It's just a wonderful message. So please go check her out. I know you'll enjoy it, and I enjoy watching that channel a lot. So anyway, I just wanted to mention these. Thank you guys so much for being here, for watching my video today, for letting me share my knitting with you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please put them down below, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and also give a look at all the channels I have listed in my featured channels section below, and give them some love as well. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we will catch you guys next time.